anazungushwa katika tanuri hii ili aweze wageni wetu wote tafadhali ambao umejumuika kule, tunaomba msonge nyuma tafadhali. Songa hatua 20 kutoka mahala mlipo tafadhali. Wetu wote tafadhali ambao umejumuika kule, tunaomba msonge nyuma tafadhali. Songa hatua 20 kutoka mahala mlipo tafadhali.
And as a board, we want to promise that firearms will not be used as symbols of status in our society. And we will make sure that discipline is observed at all times. We will also make sure that those who get those licenses are people who deserve. We also want to make sure that firearms will not be used as walking sticks in our villages. We want to be sure that those who get those firearms are people of integrity.
The operation in Marsabit continues. We have so far collected 71 guns and a huge round of ammunition, and we will continue in that direction, Your Excellency, subject to your guidance otherwise. On my own behalf and on behalf of my colleagues in the security sector, I thank you sincerely, Your Excellency, for your leadership, and I thank you for guiding us. And I assure you on behalf of my brothers and sisters in this team that we will remain on this assignment with an inflexible and decisive focus until your objectives as our President and Commander-in-Chief are achieved. Guns should not be in hands that should not have them. In the process, Your Excellency, as you instructed me yourself, I have held several meetings with community leaders, the North Rift, I've met with religious leaders and other people. And I want to assure you, sir, people believe and agree with what you have told us. Religious leaders told us, tell His Excellency the President, that is the way to go. Guns should not be in the wrong hands. Forget about all this business. Guns should be in the hands of the police and trained people. Your Excellency, we will stay on the assignment as you have guided us and ensure that your objective as our President and Commander-in-Chief are realized.
I would also encourage members of the public to recognize that now times have changed. We will no longer be engaged in political discourse because there is an acceptance of some element of cultural acceptability in the activities of banditry. Banditry is a crime. The only thing we will work together is to see how we bring it to an end, is to see how we work together with community leaders to surrender illegal weapons, and is to see how we work with community elders, to see how we work with local politicians, to work with our young men and women across the country, to find alternative, meaningful, gainful engagement that does not lead to loss of life, to loss of property, and to insistent inter-communal clashes that have absolutely no bearing to where Kenya is today and where we desire to go tomorrow. I therefore call on all, let us join hands and build this new Kenya together. Let me underscore that as a government, It is our cardinal responsibility to protect every Kenyan, as well as their property, wherever they are within our borders. And we will therefore do whatever it takes to enhance security, both in reality, but also in perception. And in this regard, we shall continue engaging civilians, especially our brothers and sisters from pastoral areas, in a discourse with a view to reducing the motivation for acquiring illegal firearms. I must, however, emphasize that demotivating our people from holding illegal firearms is a collective responsibility, and it calls for unconditional participation of members of the public and other actors, including civil society groups, as well as our media. And if we work together for a shared vision of a secure nation, I do remain confident that we shall succeed. The exercise of destruction that we are conducting today is the only and surest way that we can all rest assured that the weapons will never be used again. Ladies and gentlemen, as a civilized people, we have streamlined the gun licensing regime. Now any Kenyan who wishes to own a gun must acquire a license, but only after a thorough background check. Through the Firearms Licensing Board, we are now progressively overhauling the system, making it more effective and efficient. The ultimate vision of our administration is to have background checks processed on a 24-hour-a-day basis, 7 days a week, while at the same time, continuous monitoring of the activities of prohibited persons as far as gun ownership is concerned. We have also now established a digital register of all civilian firearm holders and issued them with smart licenses. So from now onwards, it shall be easier to retrieve their details, thus facilitating all investigations into violent crimes involving guns across our country. Some of these firearms were seized from the wrong hands, while others are obsolete. But it is also worth noting that seizing of ammunition illegally held is one of the measures that we as a country are undertaking to ensure that we sustain security in our country. The actions that we are taking today are in line with our regulatory frameworks and also various regional and international legal instruments on the management of small arms and light weapons, to which our country, Kenya, is a signatory. These include the United Nations 2001 Firearms Protocol, the Arms Trade Treaty of 2013, and the Sustainable Development Goals of 2015, among other protocols that we have signed. Kenya is indeed among the strongest proponents of international action to better address the proliferation of small arms and light weapons, and the action that we are taking today should drive home the message to all our partners that we remain absolutely committed to strengthening regional and global peace, security, and governance, these being the foundation for sustainable development in our country and region. I'm therefore optimistic that this event will certainly thwart the hopes of criminal elements out there who think that they are smart enough to restore perfect functionality to deactivated firearms. Hatujamaliza, tutaendelea mpaka tuhakikishe ya kwamba silaha zote ambazo ziko kwa mikono ya wale ambao hawastahili kuwa na hizo silaha. Tumezirudisha, and we have destroyed them so that we can have a peaceful, focused country that looks forward to peace, stability, and prosperity for all.